Hey guys, welcome back to Fishing It Up. As you can see, I'm not out on the lake. Wish I was, but it is what it is. Today, I have 3 knots for your braid to fluorocarbon leader. The red Phillips, the roll Polaris, and the line-to-line knot. The line-to-line knot is my go-to, but the roll Polaris is starting to grow on me. Great knot, small profile. Let's check them out. Alright, we're going to take 10 pound Power Pro Super Slick version 2. That's going to be our main line. And we're going to tie on a Yozuri 8 pound fluorocarbon leader. The first knot we're going to do is the line-to-line knot. Run the line off here. You start out, just run you enough line past each other. You're gonna lay these 2 lines beside each other like so. I'm gonna start out with the fluorocarbon one. We're just gonna make a loop over the braid, and I'm gonna do 7 twists through that loop. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, this is where you can draw this down a little bit. It needs to be lubricated so it doesn't burn the line. Now we're going to do the same thing on this side. I'm right-handed, it's a little bit rough for me, so I'm going to pull it over here. Just stay on this side of the knot. That way they're going to jam together at the end. We're going to do the same thing, 7. Create a loop and go through it 7 times. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, we're going to go over here and we're going to grab the other side. It's going to pull a knot there. We're going to lubricate all this real well. We're going to hold the fluorocarbon in one hand and the mono and the braid in the other till those 2 knots jam together. Now this connection knot is a little bit bigger, but I have used it without any issues for at least the last 2 years. So what we're going to do here is cut the tag ends off. Try to cut those off pretty close. These scissors are not good for braid unless it's under a lot of tension. Same thing goes for it. Try to cut it off pretty close, and there you have it, the line-to-line knot. The next knot that we're going to tie is the Royal Polaris knot. They also call it the RP knot. I'm going to be using Power Pro Super Slick version 2 as the main line, and the Yozuri 100% fluorocarbon as the leader. Start out, got a little bit too much ran out here. About 15 inches out. I'm going to run this out here. Now, what we're going to do is get this situated. I'm going to make a loop with the line, and I'm going to put that in my left hand and hold on to the tag end over here. Now, I'm going to take Just put it in my right hand and hold it. That way I have the loop. And I'm going to run the braid up from the bottom through the loop. Now, so that I know which way it came in, I'm going to hold that loop through my pinky there. I'm going to pull out enough braid to where I can run it over top of both of those lines without pulling it through, which I just did. So I'll start over. Pull the braid through the loop. Hold the loop on my pinky. I'm going to pull just enough line through to do this. You may need to pull it just a little bit more. Give yourself a little bit more room to work with to fit your hands on there. But what we're going to do is wrap the braid 7 times over top of the 2 fluorocarbon lines. So there's 1, then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7. Now, there's what you have. Now what we're going to do is right back the other way in the gaps that we have. So, going to have 1, then we're going to have 2, and then 3, and 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7. Now, we're going to run this back through because we had our pinky coming up from the bottom, so we're going to run that back through the loop. That lets us know which way we come through and which way we need to go out. Now I'm going to hold on the 2 pieces of fluorocarbon over here, and I'll grab this tag in. I'll wet all that a little bit so it pulls. I'm going to pull down on my braid, pull down on my tag in, kind of working this knot all the way down here until we get it worked together. Now, this knot is a lower profile than the line-to-line knot. The line-to-line knot kind of bunches up in the middle. This knot here is very low profile. It is just bigger than the line, as you can see. And what we're going to do, we're going to cut the tag end off, which I left super long, but you can cut it off as close as you want. Now me, personally, I've just started using this knot. I used it in a couple tournaments, and it's actually a great knot. I haven't had a failure with it yet or anything. It's low profile. It goes through the guides really well. Now the braid side of this, you can leave it a little bit long if you need to, or you can just cut it off. But there you can see there's no slippage on this knot. It is great for my purposes, what I'm doing. So that is the Royal Polaris knot. All right, we're going to start out. We got the Yozuri 8-pound, 100% fluorocarbon. That is our leader material. Our main line is Power Pro Super Slick V2 and 10-pound. I'm going to run a little bit off here of each spool. What we're going to do to get started, it's going to pull me enough so I'm work with it here. I'm just going to tie an overhand knot in the fluorocarbon and cinch that down just a little bit. We don't want to cinch it all the way up. Now, we're going to run the braid through there, and we're going to get us enough through just to work with. Hang on to it, and then we're going to pull that knot down. Not super, super tight, but tight enough to where it stays. You know, you don't want to create a point of failure there. But now we're going to take all 3, the tag end from the fluorocarbon, the braid, and the fluorocarbon leader, and run them all side by side. Now, what you want to do, or what we're going to do, Let's hold those in our hand, and we're gonna just do a line-to-line knot right here. So I'm gonna create a loop. With the braid. They're all side by side. Come down, create a loop. And we're gonna pass the braid through it 7 times. So 1, and 2, and 3. I'm struggling with this knot every time. It's like so much to hang on to, and I can't get it in my hands right. 4. 5. 6. And then 7. Now, what we're going to do, once I go through the 7, we're going to start cinching this down, and we want this line, as you can see, it's starting to wet it there. We're starting to pull up. Now we start pulling here. I'm going to kind of work everything down together so that the braid jams into that overhand knot that we tied in the fluorocarbon. Now, pull on that. You can feel it kind of pop a little bit. Now I'm going to take and trim off the tag ends. The fluorocarbon one I'm going to trim as close as I can get it. The braid one, as well, try to get it pretty close. And there you have it, the red Phillips knot. I don't know if that helps you see it or if it works better that way. It is also a small knot. It does have some bump to it, just like the other line-to-line knot did. What we're going to do here is we're going to compare the knots. This knot here is our line-to-line knot. This is our Royal Polaris knot. And this is our red Phillips knot. Let me hold these up one at a time. This one is the line-to-line. You can see it's kind of bunched up. And we're going to grab the Royal Polaris knot, which I think I'm going to use it exclusively now. It is not much bigger than the diameter of the line. And then the last one is the red Phillips knot. It is a little bit bunchier, similar to the line-to-line knot. All right, hopefully you've enjoyed today's video, and going over these knots will help you make a better connection between your fluorocarbon leader and your braid main line. As always, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Fishing It Up.